Okay, so we have a lot of pretext to get through before we start this video. So a couple of things. One, I was planning on reacting to a different video today, but this CameronF305 hit piece came out by this guy named Emro earlier today, and I really wanted to talk about it on the channel. The CameronF305 situation is one I haven't really talked too much about. One, because I started my channel after it initially happened, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Then Cameron released his Ludwig content cop. Spoiler, sorry, it was on Ludwig, not Hassan. Sorry. And just like a bunch of other things, you know. To me, the CameronF305 situation is kind of stupid. It really does not amount to anything egregious, in my opinion. There was one with Krexa, this person named Krexa, where Cameron was like 17 and like Krexa was like either 18 or 19 or something like that. I'm sure this video is going to talk about it. Another thing, I did see this video already through Papa Gut. So just a little bit of transparency there. I was going to react to it on my own, but then Papa Gut went live and he started going over this video. And so I was like, oh, well, okay. Again, there's a lot I have to say about this situation, and I can't really get to it point by point. The second set of allegations kind of seemed like nothing. It really is nothing. I don't know. This whole thing is so convoluted. Like, people have handled... My stance on the Cameron situation has hardly ever changed because so many fucking people have handled this situation so fucking badly. You had FPS Diesel, who made his dog shit fucking video on this situation, literally alleging that, like, one of Cameron's accusers, Jelly, was accusing Yandere Dev of grooming pedophiles, which is what FPS Diesel says in his video, just to be clear. And then she walks back the rape accusation. This whole thing is so, like, it's all over the place. It's very convoluted. And after sitting through a day of Papa Gut going over it, now I have to go over it for the channel because I am interested, and also because I think it's just good slop. So, without further ado, let's just talk about it. Let's get into it.
Yes, there it is, dude.
Hey, Papa Gut mentioned W.
There it is. That's our boy. That's all I need to hear to like this guy.
Also, I want to give a shout out to this guy, and he made like a parody content cop that's actually like a real content cop. It's actually pretty impressive. Here, let's take a look.
So the same guy who took iDubbbz' content cop and made it on him and got 1 million views in 3 weeks just dropped his update video called Content Deputy.
I mean, I think Cameron's content cops are alright. My only criticism I would give to Cameron if he ever watches this video, I don't think he ever will, but if you ever do, Cameron, hello. My only criticism to you is understand where to innovate and where to keep the same energy of the content cop. And I think you're getting there, but you're not quite there yet. I think you gotta... There are places that you should take risks at. I think some of the best content made is with taking risks. Papa Gut would probably tell you the same thing. But that's really it. You know, I would say the content cop videos he's made are pretty good so far, and I think he deserves the rightful throne of it, especially after all of this.
CameronF305 has recently labeled himself as the new content cop, making 2 videos attempting to capture what made iDubbbz's original series so impactful. He is trying to build a brand on fair critique, but given his history of doctoring evidence, abuse, and even allegations of
Whoa.
impactful. He is trying to build a brand on fair critique, but given his history of doctoring evidence,
Abuse, okay. Hey, my name is Krexa, singer/voice actor, and AI Doryusha, and AI will shock you. I've been involved in Yandere Simulator since about 2019. I've been staying off the internet due to reasons I'm finally ready to come out about. Before I want to make my public statement, I do not support Yandere Dev or CameronF305. I do not give my consent for my work to be in the game anymore, and I haven't given permission for the money Cameron has stolen from me for my work for on the song. As soon as I can, I will be taking action and retrieving everything I've lost. Also, I'm not going to be very professional here. I'm just going to let it all out. So, seeing all the speculation about Cameron has been making about me, I need everyone to know that Cameron is a predator, pedophile, narcissist, and he seems to be normal at times because he's great at manipulation and portraying a very normal-looking image of himself at times. Okay, there's a lot to take in there. So, first of all, if we go to FPS Diesel's first video, FPS Diesel literally says that Krexa is not important in the story at all. Literally, FPS Diesel says this in his first video, that Krexa is completely unimportant, not worth talking about at all. And so it's hard for me to say, like, it's hard for me to take any of this at face value if FPS Diesel gave his assertion at that, though then again, FPS Diesel's video was so fucking bad that maybe he's just not a reliable narrator, and so maybe Crexa is important. I don't know. As for the pedophile accusations, so, okay. If Cameron has been with Yandere Dev since he was like 12-ish, he's been like working with Yandere Simulator for a while now. And I think that's why he was kind of running defense for Yandere Dev until he couldn't. Until, like, publicly it was just undeniable that Yandere Dev is, like, a legitimate threat to children, which he definitely is. No denying that. Narcissist is a pretty loaded claim. Again, I don't know how old Cameron would be, but if you look at the DSM-5 definition of pedophilia, it's someone who is 16 or older. The age gap has to be 5 years or greater, and the person that's younger has to be 13 or younger. So if it's some dumb bullshit like the 19 and the 16-year-old allegations like Cameron said, then that would be a legitimate false pedophile accusation, just to be clear. Because 19 and 16 is not pedophilia at all. Even if you think it's inappropriate, it's like literally not a big deal at all. And again, we'll talk more about it later. He's a predator inside and out. Cameron and I were very good friends over the internet for about a year and a half, and collaborated for AI Will Shock You. We lived together, and this story of abuse will tell you who Cameron really is, what's going on behind the scenes, and the truth. So, if... I remember seeing Crex's, like, evidence for abuse, and, like, all these people, like, fucking Queeman, and everyone in Queeman's orbit was, like, using this one video of Cameron, like, putting his chin on her head and then like kind of like putting his hand around her neck and saying like that's evidence that he was abusive to her. I would say that's definitely a boundary issue for sure. That's definitely he overstepped his boundaries a little bit, but it's more of a knock it off moment, not really abuse. When I think of abuse, I think of like Evan Johnson, if you've listened to Kayla Malik's story, or like I'm Alex. That's what I think of when I think of abuse. Which, by the way, Queeman, who literally virtue signaled about Cameron being fucking abusive, Queeman literally defends I'm Alex. Go watch the Chud Logic interview if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, none of this otherwise seems relevant, so we'll continue.
And even allegations of sexual assault, this all begs the question, why won't Cameron be honest about himself? To start this story, we should briefly discuss who Cameron is. CameronF305 has started his current channel in 2016, although he states in one of his earliest videos that this was actually an alternative account. While his main account is seemingly lost to time, there's a lot of information we can garner by just looking at his current one. Initially, he was a big fan of Markiplier, emulating his content heavily and even doing videos about Mark. In 2019, Cameron would attend VidCon. He posts multiple videos around this time of him meeting several larger creators. It goes without saying, Cameron was desperate for success, posting subscriber specials, emulating larger channels, and...
It's a bit weird to say that he was desperate for success. I mean, anyone at a young age would want to get big on YouTube, right? Like, that's everyone's, like, dream job. I mean, I had it as a dream several times throughout my time. Nowadays, I really don't care that much, to be honest with you. But, goes to show that times change as you get older.
Even meeting them at YouTube conventions. Cameron's real break, however, despite his apparent YouTube grind, would come from a now infamous game, Yandere Simulator. You see, Alex, who would take up the title of Yandere Dev, made a seemingly insignificant post onto the video games board of 4chan.
Okay, so Alex is Yandere Dev, just to be clear. That's Yandere Dev's real name. This was in April of 2014 on 4chan. Set in a school, pick a boy, stalk him, kill girls who flirt with, look at... Oh, yeah. This is a very strange game over the years, where basically you kind of, like, hit on high school girls, but then there was criticism from towards Yandere Dev that's like, hey, why are we hitting on high school girls? So he has to age everyone up to 18, just for the sake of the game. It's very strange. I don't know. Yandere Dev is a very, very fucking strange individual, and then it was, like, never finished over the next several years. And people constantly made fun of him and criticized him for never finishing the game. Yeah, I mean, it's Yandere Dev is a very weird individual, that's for sure, and he's definitely a threat to children based on all the previous allegations that have came forward about him.
Where he would discuss the potential mechanics of a Yandere simulator, of which a playtest demo would be posted online a few months later. This game would blow up on YouTube, garnering attention from massive creators. Jump forward 6 years to 2020, and Cameron joins the Yandere dev team as a self-proclaimed volunteer for the game's soundtrack, which leads us...
Taking accountability, CameronF305. So this was 5 years ago. I know you guys can't see it, but it says CameronF305 up there. Hey guys, I was recently looking at some of my old posts and saw some things that I said that I don't agree with / poorly represent my goal here. Before I begin, I want to get these things out of the way. I'm a music volunteer for Yandere Simulator. I'm a mod for any of the official Yandere Simulator platforms, and though Yandere Dev considers me a friend, I still give him a look. I still give him a lot of constructive criticism, and I do not agree with everything he says by any means. First and foremost, I'm sorry for being somewhat hostile or defensive before. Okay, yeah. No, I remember what this is now. Yeah, so essentially what this is Cameron was charitable to Yandere Dev before because he had worked with Yandere Dev for years up until this point. And so, like, obviously, with someone you've worked for, you're naturally going to be closer to them. You're going to be more charitable to them. Be like, hey, I don't think what he did was that bad, and all that stuff. You know, obviously, like, okay, I don't really care too much about this, to be honest. It's more just, like, it seems like a lapse in judgment when he was, like, running defense for Yandere Dev before. Yeah, I don't really care too much about this part.
Nicely into Cameron's first big controversy. Yandere Simulator at this point had been in development for around 6 years, and needless to say, fans of this project were getting restless. Given the game's poor optimization and spaghetti code, people were starting to lose hope that they would ever see an official release. This brings us to Yandere Simulator fan games, specifically Lovesick, later renamed to Love Letter. This project was seemingly born out of disdain for Yandere Dev's work ethic and lack of progress, boasting on the announcement video that it had only taken 2 weeks to create this fan game. And while Lovesick ended up with its own litany of issues and dramas, let's focus on Cameron's involvement with this project. Long story told short, Apis, the developer for this fan project, had...
Apis? Oh, yeah, it's Dr. It's meant to be Dr. Rapist. Okay, yeah, cool. Incredible stuff. Yeah, it really goes to show the people that Cameron surrounds himself with.
stolen some of the assets from Yandere Simulator and included them in his game. Things like building models and certain decor items. Things that were made specifically for Yandere Simulator rather than the paid models that Dev had purchased himself. Cameron would get into contact with Dr. Apis and eventually offer to make music for him, as well.
I want to clear some things, understanding stuff since I've seen the FAQ. I didn't label myself as the Yandere Simulator in 2 weeks. I didn't want this to blow up so quickly, to be honest. I'm truly sorry to see this whole situation. The entire crowds of people flocking to bully you. I don't want to see you hurt. And yada, yada, yada. I've been following the game since 2014. I'm honestly a big fan. I did apologize for all that stuff. My game is meant to be a fan game. I do not think you are being honest, sincere or honest right now. You hearted comments like this. Yandere Dev is still developing after 6... Oh, it's a comment making fun of Yandere Dev. Okay, whatever. I really don't care about any of this.
Get Apis into contact with Yandere Dev. This would lead to an apology video from Apis directed towards Yandere Dev. Things turned sour when Apis decided to leak DMs with Yandere Dev, in which many people would say that Dev was baiting self-harm. This
oh my god, hold up.
Turned sour when Apis decided...
I did see this earlier, but I just wanted to go over this
DMs
again.
With Yandere
just
Dev.
for full transparency. I was originally going to react to this on my own, but I kind of already saw it because Papa Gut went live and I couldn't miss a Gut stream.
In which many people would say that Dev was baiting self...
Okay. The actual drama started a while ago. I don't feel like talking about that. If this was in July of 2020. Okay, cool. If you are aware that your project is having so many destructive consequences to another person to possibly continue, don't you see how harmful it is? Okay, yeah, Yandere Dev is a very manipulative person here. This is very clearly manipulative. He's like saying, if Yandere Simulator was ending a person's life, I'd cancel development. If there are thousands of people... Yeah, this is not only a false equivalency, but this is just extremely fucking manipulative on Yandere Dev's part. Yeah, we get this. Okay, yeah, I mean, I get this part of the video, generally speaking. Like I said, my thoughts on Yandere Dev. He is a threat to children. I really don't care for his well-being. He's definitely a very strange and concerning individual, for sure.
Of harm. This culminated in Apis removing his apology video, which caused a rift between him and Cameron, who at this point had become friends. This ends with Cameron making a video about Dr. Apis, in which he admits to forging a screenshot in order to win a debate.
I took a real screenshot and another real screenshot, combined them, and I made a fake screenshot for that debate. This was a mistake of mine, because...
So, as of June 2025, Cameron has taken this video down and privated it. So, this was in 2020, which means Cameron would have been like, what, 15 or 16 at this point? Okay, yeah, whatever. I don't really care too much about this. Like, yeah, Cameron faked the screenshot. It's not good, but, like, do better, 16-year-old Cameron. That's really all I have to say. I mean, it just doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. Like, I'm not really here to condemn Cameron for something he did while he was 16 years old. Everybody does stupid shit when they're 16 or 17. even when you're 18, like, even when you become, like, a legal adult, like, you're still, to me, like, an 18-year-old's still a kid. I'm 23, turning 24, so to me, an 18-year-old's still a kid.
Find them, and I made a fake screenshot for that debate. This was a mistake of mine, because then I ruined any validity that I had in the situation.
Now, to be fair, Cameron was a minor at the time, and this was 5 years ago, so I don't think we should hold him to any significant level of scrutiny for this.
Okay, at least the video creator acknowledges that. Thank God. Thankfully, he does acknowledge that. Though I do hear that this creator is a orbiter of Queeman, which is can't say I'm a huge fan of that. I listened to the debate, or not really debate. It was more of a conversation. I shouldn't say debate. When I was on the live stream, MRAW had a conversation with Papa Gut, and I have some opinions of it. Maybe I'll react to it after this video. Maybe not. I haven't really decided if I'm gonna react to it or not. But I just don't like Queeman very much. I think Queeman is a clout-chasing loser, personally. I don't really think he argues in good faith. He's kind of a debate bro, and he virtue signals about a lot of shit. Meanwhile, he doesn't seem like he has any moral values himself. So that's really my take on Queeman. I don't know. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical, but it seems like MRAW's trying to talk in good faith here. So, I don't know. I mean, dude, this situation's so convoluted. I don't remember every single aspect of it, so that's why I think watching this video one more time is, like, a good thing to do.
Being said, I do feel like it's important enough to briefly bring up as a sort of start to the pattern. This dishonest, almost malicious behavior didn't stop here. To get the full picture, we need to look at Cameron's ongoing pattern of deception, including his history of lying and manipulating evidence. This leads us into 2021, when Yandere Dev asks Cameron to work on a song alongside one of the game's voice actors, going by Krexa. After completing the song, they quickly became friends and soon started discussing the idea of moving in together. And after
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
overcoming a few obstacles, they finally did so in June of 2023. However, this arrangement lasted less than a month before Cameron decided to kick Krexa out of his apartment. And despite what Cameron would have you believe, Krexa isn't completely crazy. Cameron did abuse her, and he has been lying about her for—
God. Okay, so you're gonna have to show something very convincing here for me to believe that it's abuse, and I definitely know that you don't do that here, because the first time that this happened— okay, the first time that this happened in this situation was when Queeman showed the video. I saw this through Queeman's stream from the very little time that I was looking there. He showed a video. Cameron was putting his chin on Krex's head, and then he was, like, putting his hand around her neck, and she was obviously uncomfortable with it. It's definitely— you shouldn't do that. Not good. But also, it's not abuse, okay? Like, that's not abuse. It's more of a, hey, knock it off moment. It's not really something that I'm here gonna litigate Cameron over. It's just more of a, hey, you're young, please do fucking better next time. That's really it. Be more cognizant of boundaries. That's it.
over a year, even to this day. Krexa had alleged quite a bit in her initial post about Cameron, and the allegations differ a lot in terms of severity. For the sake of not poisoning the well, I'm going to bring up a few points in her 8-page document that are just completely unsubstantiated or outright false. She claims Cameron is a rapist, but never levies any rape allegations or stories about a forced assault.
Yeah, and also in FPS Diesel's original video as well. If that's the if the FPS Diesel video is the one that she was referring to, which I don't know the timeline, I don't know if this happened before or after the Jelly situation, so I don't fully understand the time. This whole thing is so convoluted. Holy fuck. It's like, I don't know if the Jelly situation happened before or after. That's what I'm trying to say. So if that's the situation that Krexa is referring to in this document, he would objectively not be one, because Jelly pretty much admitted she walked back the rape accusation, and even FPS Diesel says that she walked it back as well. So, God, this whole dude, just like so many people have handled this situation so badly, and it's like this whole thing is very stupid.
As well as claiming Cameron sleeps while listening to ASMR of women screaming. Both of these claims.
What? Personally, Cameron, if that's true, that's probably the worst allegation yet. I'm gonna be real with you. That's fucking... Dude, how do you fucking sleep with women screaming at you? What do you mean, bro? Come on. Now, obviously, I don't care too much about this. That was obviously me just having a little bit of hyperbole, but still.
claims are pretty extreme, and again, to be fair to Cameron, they lack any credibility. The rest of her document, minus a few nitpicks, mostly towards the end, seems to line up roughly with what Cameron himself admits to. She even provides recordings to back up a good chunk of what she claims, which is what I'll be focusing on today. One of the first claims made by Crexa is that Cameron had choked her on a live stream, saying this was not a planned or consented to encounter. Crexa is seen initially going along with the joke, but when Cameron takes things too far, she pushes him away and is visibly distressed.
I'm stealing the stream for a minute.
Yeah, so I saw this clip already on Cleeman's stream. Just to be clear, this is not abuse. Yeah, like, it's just like a bit playful. It's a little bit rough. She's smiling at first, but then, like, obviously he's about to...
What? What the fuck?
What was Cameron's response to this?
Yeah, no, like, listen, like, this is, like, that's not good. It's definitely a boundary issue for sure, but also that's not abuse. And just to be clear, if Queeman or anyone in his orbit, like this Emro guy or anyone else, uses this as, like, evidence that Cameron is abusive, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that anything else is real going forward, because that just is not abuse. Like I said, abuse is like, would be like I'm Alex, or would be like Evan Johnson with the Kayla Malik stuff. That would be what I would consider abuse. There's probably plenty of other situations that exist, but I can't think off the top of my head right now.
Well, he lies. He takes the clip out of context, refuses to show the full video, and acts as if Crexa is crazy for ever being uncomfortable with something like this.
Everything between me and her was pretty fine up until this point. I'd asked her to keep the stream entertained for a while because I had to use the restroom. And when I came back, we were posing a bit in front of the camera. I thought it'd be a funny time to pretend to kill her, since that was the joke. We both worked on the game about the killer. A joke she was already playing along with, and you can see that in her face. She was smiling.
I think so. Can y'all hear me? I'm stealing the stream for a minute.
Destroy her. She was initially laughing, and then she tugged away.
Yeah, I mean, he cut away the part that was choking. That's definitely... I think you should have shown that, for sure. I definitely think showing the full context to everything matters, and you should have shown that. But also, I kind of get it. You know, to me, throughout everything, through, like, the Jelly accusations, through FPS Diesel's situation, like, Cameron does lie, okay? That's a huge point that a lot of people are criticizing him for. A lot of people are also criticizing him for the 19 and 16 age gap with Jelly, which, again, I don't really care too much about, to be honest with you. It's a high school age gap, so I really don't care too much, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like, the way I see it, every time Cameron has lied, there's a very strange economy online of just sensationalizing allegations and making things seem so much worse than they actually are, just because, like, everything is so high energy and there's, like, a legit fear of getting canceled. So, to me, like, I feel like Cameron lies quite a bit in the story just because he's, like, not because he's doing it maliciously, but because he's, like, scared of getting canceled. And so, like, that kind of is what it strikes me as, more than anything.
I assumed it was because I was kind of pushing her around a bit when I was doing that, when I said, I'm gonna destroy you. Stream moved on and everything was fine.
No, that wasn't a cut I made. That is Cameron's video in full without any modification. Remember, the full clip shows the initial armor on the neck, which Crexa plays along with, and then the hand around the throat, which is clearly what she takes issue with. What is Cameron's excuse for cutting this out?
But that's not abusive. Like, you guys are saying that it's abuse. Like, there's a lot of, like, Queeman literally alleged that it was abusive and that there was a level of abuse to it, but then he, like, then you show that clip and it's like, come on. Like, you guys, please, get a job. Like, get a fucking job. I don't know what to tell you.
Effectively smearing and crazy painting Crexa. Well, in a video he posted a month later titled The r/Asana Degenerates, he addresses why he cut this clip so short.
Point I'm gonna fully take on the chin is me cutting the ending of the clip of me and Crexa streaming together. Now, the intention of me showing that in the first place was to show the timestamps and what was going on beforehand, to show the inconsistencies and hypocrisies within Crexa's story based on what happens later on in that same stream.
Hold on, wait, what was that video? I heard all of this already, but, like, this situation is so convoluted that it's very fucking easy to forget shit, so I want to just, like, make sure I have, like, a tangible timeline in my head.
Crexa. Well, in a video he posted a month later titled The r/Asana Degenerates, he addresses why he cut this clip so short.
Point I'm gonna fully take on the chin is me cutting the ending of the clip of me and Crexa streaming together. Now, the intention of me showing that in the first...
Okay.
First place was to show the timestamps and what was going on beforehand, to show the inconsistencies and hypocrisy within Crex's story based on what happens later on in that same stream with the timestamp visible, as well as my side of the story from my perspective and my point of view. In the original edit, there was no cutoff. However, a friend of mine suggested that for 2 reasons it should be cut off. Number 1, for time's sake, because the video was getting really long. Regardless, in the video, after, I still own that what I did there was dumb, and it was a breach of personal space and boundaries, and it was wrong of me, and I still feel bad about it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, if he's admitting that it was a breach of boundaries, and, like, yeah, that's... I mean, like, he's admitting that he was wrong. And also, like, what? Cameron was, like, 17 at this point? He was, like, 17, 18-ish? Somewhere around there? I don't know. I mean, like, personally, not good, but it's not something that I think should ruin his life forever. And it's definitely not abuse, so... I'm just not gonna hurt my head with it anymore. It seems pretty, like, I don't know. Seems kind of childish to litigate Cameron over something like this.
This makes absolutely no sense. Cameron's response is almost 3 hours long, and the full clip would have added, what, 3 seconds to the video? Cameron also refuses to show the full clip of him choking Crexa in this video. So it goes without saying, this is just more blatant dishonesty and obfuscation on Cameron's part. Crexa claimed that she had...
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, he probably did lie here. I wouldn't doubt that Cameron did lie, but he's probably lying because he's just scared of getting canceled. So, like, that's a legitimate fear that content creators have. Because the online narrative about a lot of social issues is just so fucking messed up and overblown. So I don't blame Cameron here for, like, kind of lying. Also, not to mention the times where he did lie to FPS Diesel, right? He has a very good reason to lie to FPS Diesel because FPS Diesel fucked this up so badly and he released that horrible dog shit fucking video about Cameron. And that really poisoned the well for a lot of people. I'll just keep watching.
Confronted Cameron once the stream was over and explained how he had made her feel uncomfortable. Cameron responds by telling her it was a joke and that she's overreacting and to go sleep on the couch. Eventually, Cameron goes into the living room to chastise Crexa for not forgiving him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is just he said, she said.
Encounter, which I'll let speak for itself for the most part.
My last chance.
Oh god, yeah, the audio's bad here. I have to put on captions.
What the fuck does that mean?
Take it as you will.
I don't want to be threatened to be listened. What the fuck?
Excuse me.
No. Just leave me alone. What the fuck?
Don't respond to me. Just relax.
What is happening here? What's going on?
I'm gonna go. I apologize for that made you feel. I apologize for getting this not getting you earlier. I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't thinking about it.
You were
It was malintent. It was no malintent. I just don't want you to be anxious or upset or nervous.
I'm extremely anxious now.
Excuse me. Can I just be
He's forcing me to listen to him here under the threat of homelessness. He's demanded I shut the fuck up and listen to him until I complied. I'm not okay with him being in the room. Well, aren't you in his house? Isn't that his house, technically? And you're living, like, in his house, or, like, at least there temporarily. I don't know if you're, like, there just for, like, the moment, or if you're there permanently. I don't know. Also, what the fuck is a 17-year-old kid doing living on his own? That's what I want to know.
I want you to leave me alone. Please just leave me alone. Right now. Go.
You don't control it, okay?
I get the right to my own space.
You do, absolutely.
Please just leave me alone.
You don't control it. You don't tell me what.
Please.
Okay, I'm gonna get sad and I'm gonna go back.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he's complying with her. It doesn't really seem like an abusive situation. It seems very, I don't know. I mean, like, I watched this already earlier. That's why I'm, like, kind of skeptical about this. It just seems more like... And also, FPS Diesel said in his first video that Crexa wasn't important to the story. So, like, if she wasn't important, then why... Okay, why didn't we hear about this in the first set of allegations that he fucking released? He's demanded I shut the fuck up and listen to him until I complied. I'm not okay with him being in the room. Okay, let me listen to all of this. I mean, he's complying with her wishes. Like, he's saying, leave me alone. And he says, yeah, I'm going to go do that. But also, like, it is his home. So, like, I don't he definitely has a right to his home, just to be clear. Like, yes, she has a right to her space, but also, like, I would need to know, is she living there permanently, or was there plans to for her to live there permanently, or was she gonna go, like, just stay there for a little bit?
Cameron refuses to leave her alone despite Krexa trying to draw a clear boundary, and Cameron eventually snaps and explains that she can't control him and this is his house and he can be where—
I don't really like the framing of that. That's very weird, so one more time.
Cameron refuses to leave her alone despite Krexa trying to draw a clear—
Well, no, that's just not true. If you go back in the recording, he literally says that I'm going to leave you alone and stuff. So that's just you. I don't know if you're blatantly lying there or if you're just being very, I don't know, that's weird. This audio is from the day after the incident and gives context for what's to come and verifies what happened, and I wasn't able to secretly record. I don't believe his apology is genuine. I believe it's to keep me quiet and peaceful. Oh.
Boundary.
Oh, was that this is from someone else's video, got it. But yeah, no, that's just not true. Like, Cameron did, like, comply, just to be, like, clear.
Cameron eventually snaps and explains that she can't control him and this is his house. And
that's okay. I don't know. Cameron didn't snap. He's like, hey, don't control me or whatever. That's not really like him snap. I mean, not really. Like, yeah, no, it's not really him snapping. And he's not really like, I don't know, dude. It's just, I feel like the language here is a little bit disproportionate.
Can be where he wants to. Now, to be clear, I'm not going to act like this is insane. This is pretty light, all things considered. Cameron obviously shouldn't be power tripping on his friend who is obviously distressed, and regardless if Krexa was indeed overreacting or not, this is at the very least escalatory and unnecessary behavior on Cameron's part.
Not really. I feel like they were just sort of like working out like how to deal with the situation. And Cameron was kind of just like going off of his instinct based on how Krexa was feeling, and Krexa says, hey, no, like, I'm not feeling comfortable this way, and then Cameron was like, all right, I'm gonna leave you alone and all that stuff. It's pretty much like where I was at there, or that's pretty much where I interpreted it.
Around the same time, Cameron decides to vague post on a Snapchat story about Krexa and their fight that they had. In the morning, upon seeing this, Krexa accuses Cameron of smear campaigning her on Snapchat. Cameron initially denies this, but when Krexa says she had screenshotted the post, he immediately folds.
So, this apology is good and correct, but if you really mean it, why are you smearing?
Do so much shit and always find a way to feel stabbed. Can't even apologize because it's never good enough. Treat me like shit instead. It just hurts when... Okay, so just to be clear, I used to use Snapchat when I was in, like, high school and stuff. So, like, people did this shit all the time. I did this shit, too. People would post, like, how they felt and would, like, sub-post kind of on Snapchat. It was more like a weird vent posting. I'm not saying it's a healthy thing, and I'm not encouraging Cameron to do this. I'm not encouraging anyone to do it, as a matter of fact. But that's what this strikes me as. It doesn't really seem like a smear post, necessarily. It just seems like Cameron is just, like, kind of inappropriately venting on a Snapchat, when he probably shouldn't, admittedly. It's definitely... I wouldn't say this is a good thing to do. But this is... I don't know. Saying that it's a smear campaign is a bit of a stretch. I don't know. I don't think Krexa has a lot of credibility here. I mean, FPS Diesel, I guess, was right about one thing. Krexa really was not important to the story at all.
Campaigning on your Snapchat right now.
I'm not.
I saw it.
What do you mean?
I saw your story.
What do you mean?
I saw your story this morning, where you talked about me treating you like shit. And you can play dumb about it, but I took a picture of it, just in case.
Private story.
So, if you really mean all this...
Yeah, that was pretty emotional. That was created 10 hours ago, right after everything happened.
Krexa says she doesn't want to be smeared.
I mean, again, I don't know if, like, that's not really evidence that Cameron lied about that specific thing. I wouldn't doubt that Cameron has lied about other aspects to this story as well. But also, Cameron, that's not really evidence that Cameron, sorry if I'm not speaking correctly, like, I already went through this situation earlier today, so I'm kind of just, like, running through it for this video, and I've already reacted to it. I'm just here to give my thoughts in general, and just using this video as a reference. But, like, that's not really evidence that Cameron lied about anything necessarily, right? Like, she could have said, hey, like, why did you put that smear campaign up of me? If you replay the recording, she does say that. Hey, why did you put this smear campaign or whatever? And, like, Cameron was like, what smear campaign or whatever? Because it really was not a smear campaign on its own. So that's not really enough for me to say that Cameron is just a malicious liar there.
Your campaign, and Cameron responds by saying she isn't, and that she's the only one who had seen the story.
I don't want to be smear campaigned.
You're not being smeared. You're the only one who's seen it. So
oh, she's saying it. Wait, is this part after? This, like, recording was after? I need to replay one more time. One more time. Where is it? No, not that.
Says she had screenshotted the post. He immediately folds.
So,
God, the audio is, like, very, very bad.
this apology is good and correct, but if you really mean it, why are you smear campaigning me on your
Oh, yeah, so, no, she does say it earlier. Yeah, why are you smear campaigning it? Yeah, okay.
The only one who had seen the story.
I don't want to be smear campaigned.
Yeah, okay, so she does say it before. That's good to know.
you're not being smeared. You're the only one who's seen it so far.
We can see via the provided screenshot that the posts are 8 hours old. So
I'll never be good. Yeah, again, this is just Cameron venting to his Snapchat. So you would be surprised how common this was for high school. I don't know if kids still do this this day. I uninstalled Snapchat a while ago. I really just don't use Snapchat. I don't really use that much social media in general, to be honest. Like, social media, in my opinion, is kind of a toxin, and I'm kind of just, like, more focused on not being as terminally online anymore. But that's beside the point. I don't know if kids still, like, do the Snapchat venting to this day, but that was a huge thing back when I was in high school. A lot of people, myself included, would do shit like this.
the likelihood of her being the only person who's seen them is pretty low. To call this a smear campaign is a bit silly. These posts just seem kind of like sympathy bait targeted at friends or followers, if that. However, this doesn't really change the fact that Cameron was lying to Crex's face about posting about her. As silly and as trivial as this might seem, this is yet another example of Cameron's dishonest behavior. And this happens a lot throughout Cameron's response to Crex's allegations. He at one point decides to leak one-sided sext messages where he only showed.
Okay. I'm craving dick and doms. You are my number one choice, my favorite. I want you. Just kiss me already, you big dummy. Fuck me up already, dummy. And then he puts a fucking emote here, like a stupid fucking emote here. Okay. Incredible.
Crex's side. He does this in response to being accused of having a rape fetish by Crexa in an unreleased interview.
She had a kink. A very
which is consent non-consent, just for context. That is like a legitimate thing. Consent non-consent's fine as long as proper boundaries are set in place. So yeah,
very, very strong kink involving the lack of consent.
But
well, yeah, that's consent non-consent. Yeah,
then externally, from his perspective, I don't know if he knew that, because I didn't really let him know, so I can't really sit here and call him a rapist, even though he does have a rape fetish. But
so it sounds like you both miscommunicated. That doesn't really, like, it doesn't really seem like Cameron maliciously. I'm gonna let the recording play.
I can't.
All right, I won't be holding any punches. That BDSM fetish that she mentioned in her document was a rape fetish that I was not into, and she knew that I was not into.
Whoa. Okay, sorry, I need to go back.
I can't really sit here. Don't know if he knew that, because I didn't really let him know, so I can't really sit here and call him a rapist, even though he does have a rape fetish. But I can't.
So is the insinuation there that he, like, is a rapist, but you don't want to say that he's a rapist because that could be, like, a serious defamation lawsuit if that's proven false? Is that what the insinuation there is? Because I'm really trying hard to understand that part.
All right, I won't be holding any punches. That BDSM fetish that she mentioned in her document was a rape fetish that I was not into, and she knew that I was not into.
Okay. If you want this view, you can always tie me up. Wrestling match. Yada, yada, yada. Some of the BDSM things I was into probably muddied the waters for him, so even though I kept saying no, he kept asking over and over again, probably 10 times. He's going to try and expose me by sharing my private fetishes I've had for a long time. So I'm going to make it clear that, yeah, maybe at first it was unclear, but this story, this dude is a rapist. So, okay, so you say that he's a rapist, and then in the recording you allege that he's not a rapist, even though you guys are clearly engaging in consent, non-consent, which is fine. I don't care as long as there's proper boundaries set. But like Cameron says that he didn't consent to it himself. All right, yeah.
That BDSM fetish that she mentioned in her document was a rape fetish that I was not into, and she knew that I was not into. And now she's trying to push that on me. She's trying to turn the tables, even though.
I'm craving dick and doms. Yeah. We read that part already.
Oh, all the evidence points to it being her. I don't have that fetish. She has that fetish.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, is there any? I don't think there's any evidence that Cameron has it himself. We haven't seen anything that would indicate that, unless it's.
And now she's trying to say that I have it publicly, in this interview that was never published. So now that that's out of the way, I won't be pulling any punches. She had a rape fetish that I was not into and that I did not consent to doing.
This is an insane overreaction and completely unwarranted.
Well, how would it be an overreaction? Like, how would it be an overreaction? I mean, everything he said there was true, and there's no evidence to suggest that Cameron is necessarily lying here.
This serves only to shame and humiliate Krexa, which, ironically enough, Krexa predicts in her document. This is
I never really took it as him kink shaming Krexa. This was more just like him saying, hey, she had a consent, non-consent, a rape fetish or whatever, which is consent, non-consent, that I didn't consent to, that I didn't want to do and whatever. But then she alleges that he's a rapist. If someone is alleging that you're a fucking rapist, then I wouldn't say that's an overreaction. Like, Mr. Mrau, if someone accused you of being a fucking rapist, I'm pretty sure you would react the same way and say that you wouldn't pull any punches either. So I don't really think Cameron is overreacting here.
All made even worse when you remember that these aren't false allegations. While exaggerated at times, these claims that Krexa was making were based entirely in...
So just to be clear, exaggerated allegations are false allegations. That is 100%, like, that's true. If someone literally says that someone is a pedophile, like, look at Call Me Carson, for instance. They were calling him a pedophile, even though he was a 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old, which is fucking ridiculous. That is an exaggerated allegation. Like, yes, Call Me Carson talked to these people and sexted them, but he's not a pedophile for it. That's an exaggerated allegation. It's also demeans the word of pedophilia. And, again, I mean, the online narrative about sexual assault, pedophilia, and grooming is completely off the rails, and it's very terminally online. It's very, very online. So, like, again, exaggerated allegations are false allegations. Just throwing that out there.
Reality. It seems like he made two entirely different responses to Krexa and just put them together in his video back to back. For example, at around the 40-minute mark, Cameron addresses the claim that he had spread AI or revenge porn of Krexa.
So here she lies and claims that I was sending revenge porn of her. Prove it to me. She's claiming I sent revenge porn. Prove it to me. That never happened.
To be clear, his response here is perfectly fine. It's obviously on Krexa to provide evidence, especially for a claim like this. However, an hour later in his video, he addresses the same exact allegation, but this time, he tries to guess which video she is talking about and decides to play it for his audience.
She claimed at one point that I was sharing porn or an AI porn of her, and a bunch of other really weird claims that had zero bases.
Like, I don't know if he, like, got an act. I was like, you told me about this one time, and then I was thinking about it, like, maybe it's an actress, maybe it's an AI, I don't know. I'm guessing it just doesn't even exist, but you said somebody's seen this video.
Go ahead, post it. If it's real, as you say, let me see it.
Yeah, honestly. I would like, you know what, you're right. I want to see this fucking video.
Y'all notice the stuttering there? It's because she knows what it is. It's this. Right.
What the I don't know what I'm looking at. I wouldn't be able to say if it's revenge porn or not.
On screen. And the reason she knows is because she thought she made me delete it.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't give any judgment on what I'm seeing. Everything's pixelated. And I'm not saying I want to see the revenge porn, just to be clear, but, like, I just don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Calling this revenge porn. This isn't porn. There is no porn. Nothing. The entire video. I'm not gonna share it because I'm embarrassed by this video. But there's no porn in it. But she tried calling this revenge porn and wanted me to delete it. Now I know why, and I'm glad I didn't. There you go. But yeah, she tried to get me to delete this. I told her I did, so she'd leave me alone.
It's insane that Cameron admits to refusing to delete this intimate video and decides to show it publicly on YouTube. As far as I can.
I mean, he might be right that it's not revenge porn. We're never gonna know for sure unless, like, we see the video. And I'm not saying I want to see the video, to be honest with you. Nor do I care to. But we're never gonna know for sure. It's like, how are we gonna litigate this on Cameron?
Although there isn't anything relating this video, which is just kissing, to anything revenge porn related. But regardless, stuff like this happens constantly throughout Cameron's response. He basically responds to everything twice and gives different answers each time, which again is just really odd, and I'm not sure why he did this. Probably the worst case of Cameron outright smearing Krexa happens around the time she was kicked out of his apartment, an incident that involved Cameron calling the police on her. Long story told short, they got into an argument, Krexa runs outside, Cameron, after calling the crisis hotline, follows her. At some point, Krexa runs back inside to take refuge with Cameron's roommate. Eventually, the police show up and investigate the situation. Let's see how Cameron initially explains this situation.
She refused to listen, bolted out of my house after hopping over the couch, and was clearly going into some mental breakdown. So I immediately called a mental health hotline to get advice. They told me to locate her immediately. I first grabbed my keys just in case she tried locking me out, and they told me to find her because she could hurt herself. And as it turns out, according to the police report, she
according to the police report. Okay. So this means white male, white female 19, so that would be Krexa right here. Okay. I understand why this is all redacted, by the way. This was like a whole conversation in Paul and Guts stream. But again, it's so convoluted that I don't remember all of it, so I have to refresh my memory again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm not really, yeah. All right, this seems fine to me. I mean, I guess we'll see what the video creator has to say about it, because I kind of forgot what they said about it.
He was wielding a knife. This is when I decided to take some time to call for a Baker Act.
Okay, so your roommate. That's not how you spell roommate, Cameron. Sorry, he's 17 years old. I gotta not litigate this on him too much. It's all good, bro. She calming down. I'm so sorry. No problem. Hell, we all go through shit. I'm for real so confused and concerned. Females are emotional people, bro. Sometimes you just gotta let them go through the motions. They will come back around once they calm down. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Which is when...
It's a lot of bro talk.
Someone going through a mental health crisis gets immediate help and treatment.
The Baker Act.
I actually have a copy of the report. Some details...
Copy of the report. That's, again, this is Krexa. Yeah, I mean, this is the same thing. We read all this. Okay, yeah.
Will be censored for safety reasons and as to not dox.
So it's, yeah, woman, female at 19, and then this would be, or white female, and white male. It's because not woman, female. It's
her or any locations involved. But according to her background check, she had a history of violent threats online and was Baker Acted in 2016. These were things I wasn't entirely aware of, other than the Baker Act, but I didn't know what it was for or when it was.
In that video, Cameron presents a police report that allegedly claims Krexa was Baker Acted in 2016 for violent behavior. But if
2016, I don't see where it says 2016 anywhere. I'm not seeing it.
You've been following this video so far, you already know that Cameron has a well-established history of dishonesty and evidence tampering. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean, but like, where does it say 2016? That's where I'm confused.
Let's actually examine the report he provided. The redactions on this report are sloppy, uneven in height, poorly aligned, and in some cases even overlapping the document's layout borders. It immediately raises a question. Did Cameron censor this report himself? And if so, what exactly is he trying to hide? Well, we don't have to speculate. Cameron was directly asked about this on a recent live stream.
There's hype. I'm not going to get it day one.
Why did you fabricate your report to the authorities and then hide all the replies regarding this on your newest tweets?
Okay, first of all, retard.
Hey! Don't use that word, man! Come on! I thought we were cool. Don't use that.
I didn't. That's a lie. I didn't fabricate my Freedom of Information report with redacted information that I couldn't see. I don't know how anybody else got unredacted information. So I just got it from the Freedom of Information Act. I hid replies because these people are bad faith malicious actors like yourself. So you can go fuck off. Thank you.
Alright, yeah. Okay.
Mods.
First off, Cameron didn't get the report from the Freedom of Information Act. He got it from FPS Diesel, who provided him the uncensored copy.
What the fuck was FPS Diesel doing with a copy of the fucking Krexa thing? What is it? Oh my god. What was he doing with it?
He shows this himself in his response video.
How did you get this, FPS Diesel? What the fuck?
But if you want definitive proof, here's FPS Diesel sending me an unedited screen recording of him scrolling through Cameron's DMs, opening the file he sent Cameron, and it is
okay, I'm not going to look through the uncensored version of this, because I don't really care to find it, but
completely uncensored. If you want even more definitive evidence, you need not look further than the aforementioned video titled the r/Osana Degenerates. Uploaded a month after his response video, he shows the entire report without the black bar censors. So Cameron is both lying about where he got this report and who censored it. Now,
so FPS Diesel had access to it. He gave it. I need to watch this one more time because this whole thing is so fucking like it's really hurting my brain. Sorry.
So, what exactly is he trying to hide? Well,
hold on. No, even further back. What was this?
And was Baker acted in 2016. These were things I wasn't entirely aware of, other than the Baker Act, but I didn't know what it was for or when it was.
In that video, Cameron presents a police report that allegedly claims Crexa was Baker acted in 2016 for violent behavior. But if you've been following this video so far, you already know that Cameron has a well-established history of dishonesty.
Okay.
Report with redacted information that I couldn't see. I don't know how anybody else got unredacted information. So I just got it from the Freedom of Information Act. I had replies because these people are bad faith malicious actors like yourself. So you can go fuck off. Thank you. Thanks, mods.
First off, Cameron didn't get the
okay, so Cameron provably lied there. So FPS Diesel somehow in some fucking world got a hold of this document. He sent it over to Cameron. And that's how he originally got a hold of it, apparently? Or was that... Okay.
Report from the Freedom of Information Act. He got it from FPS Diesel, who provided him the uncensored copy.
But when was this original... Okay, so when was this response that Cameron made? Do we know... Hold on. I'm so confused. Where was it? It's earlier in this video. I think there was like a date.
Just to show the full video and acts as if Crexa is crazy. Well, he lies. He takes the clip out of context, refuses to. What was Cameron's response to this? Well, he was something like this.
Everything, and when I came back,
when was this response video uploaded? The Osanga Degenerates.
Well, in a video he posted a month later titled the r/Osana Degenerates.
Oh, Osana Degenerates. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm trying to figure out when this response that he made was uploaded because I'm just wondering, was this response before he even... I'm so confused. Was this response before he even... made who even got like a hold of FPS Diesel getting the document to begin with? Okay, so that's the problem that I had. Dude, I knew something wasn't fucking adding up about this when I was looking at it. I was looking at everything and all the details, and in my head it was like, something about this is not right. So listen to what Cameron says here.
In 2016, these were things I wasn't entirely aware of, other than the Baker Act, but
not
I didn't
this part.
know what it was for or when it was.
In that video, Cameron presents a police report that...
No, not here. What the fuck? Where is it?
Immediate help and treatment. And I didn't know what it was for or when it was.
Where is it? Dude, where the fuck is it?
According to her background check, she had a history of violent threats online and was Baker acted in 2016. These were things I wasn't entirely aware of. She could hurt herself, and as it turns out, according to the police report, she was wielding a knife. This is when I decided to take some time to call for a Baker Act, which is when someone going through a mental health crisis gets immediate help and treatment. I actually have a copy of the report. Some details will be censored for safety reasons and as...
Okay, yeah, so Cameron himself said that he censored the details himself, but then you say in your own video...
Tampering. So let's actually examine the report. You allegedly claims Crexa was Baker acted in 2016 for violent behavior. But if you've been following this video so far, you already know that Cameron has a well-established history of dishonesty and evidence tampering. So let's actually examine the report he provided. The redactions on this report are sloppy, uneven in height, poorly aligned, and in some cases even overlapping the document's layout borders. It immediately raises a question. Did Cameron censor this report himself? And
yeah, but earlier Cameron admitted that he did. So you're kind of framing this video in such a way where you're catching him in this lie when it's not really a big lie at all. He censored it himself. Yeah, Cameron admits this later. And then here
on a recent live stream.
There's hype. I'm not going to get it day
Why
one.
did you fabricate your report to the authorities and then hide all the replies regarding this on your newest tweets?
Okay, first of all, retard. I didn't.
Stop saying that word. Come on, man.
I didn't fabricate my Freedom of Information report with redacted information that I couldn't see. I don't know how anybody else got unredacted information. So I just got it from the Freedom of Information Act.
Okay, so yeah, Cameron definitely verifiably lies here. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, that's not good. That's definitely not good. I don't know if it's like a malicious lie necessarily. I don't know. It's so weird that like the video creator framed it in that way when he was like, listen, do we know if he redacted it himself, even though he literally admitted it earlier? But then later, I don't know. This whole thing is such a fucking mess. It's hurting my brain. We're gonna move on from that. I spent like a good fucking 15 minutes trying to examine that. I'm probably gonna edit a lot of it down in post-production. But there's like, I just spent so much time editing that, or like going over that, and my brain kind of fucking hurts from it.
Got it from FPS Diesel, who provided him the uncensored copy. He shows this himself in his response video, but if you want definitive proof, here's FPS Diesel sending an unedited screen recording of him scrolling through Cameron's DMs, opening the file he sent Cameron, and it is completely uncensored. If you want even more definitive evidence, you need not look further than the aforementioned video titled the r/Osana Degenerates. Uploaded a month after his response video, he shows the entire report without the black bar censors. So Cameron is both lying about where he got this report and who censored it. Now that we've established the dishonesty, let's actually examine the document.
I mean, I don't know if it's a malicious lie necessarily.
I've gone through and added a red bar to any sensitive information. The black bar on the top is likely related to Cameron's gun safe, and the bar on the bottom is likely medical information relating to the Baker Act.
Okay.
Let's talk about the supposed Baker Act. It's not about Krexa. While I'll keep the individual's name censored, you can see he is labeled as a black male born in 1987.
Okay, yeah, so that checks out. This is like a completely separate situation. Wait, I am so confused. Hold on. In the report that Cameron shows...
involved. But according to her background track, she had a history of violent threats online and any report since 2016. Details will be censored.
Oh, he censored that part out. Okay, got it. Cool. Okay, got it.
All to make someone to know this isn't about or another tenet of the censored Baker Act. And let's talk about the supposed Baker Act. It's not about Krexa. While I'll keep the individual's name censored, you can see he is labeled as a black male born in 1987. I'm not sure if this is Cameron's roommate or another tenant of the apartment complex or someone completely unrelated, but it's not about Krexa, and Cameron knows this. He censors the Act, and he is labeled as a black male born in 1987. I'm not sure if this is Cameron's roommate or another tenant of the apartment complex or someone completely unrelated, but it's not about Krexa, and Cameron knows this. He censors the race, gender, and date of birth, which makes it impossible for viewers to know this isn't about Krexa unless they've seen the uncensored version, which at this point would be next to impossible. To summarize, Cameron lied about what the report says, he lied about how he got it, and he lied about who redacted it. And he did this all to make someone accusing him of abuse look mentally unstable. To be clear, I don't fault Cameron for censoring the report himself as a baseline to protect your privacy. However, maliciously censoring a police report to smear someone accusing you of abuse is very different than simply protecting your privacy. This is
I don't... Okay.
Extremely egregious and malicious behavior, and I don't know how he got away with this for so long. Cameron also parroted these claims to other content creators like FPS Diesel, who ended up including this in their own video.
Now, Krexa herself has a pretty checkered history with
Jesus fucking Christ.
former men, homelessness, mental illness, and a lot more that calls the girl unstable and into question, right? The police report my team and I got detail the previous Baker Act. This report is real. I am the reason the report leaked.
Cameron likes to act tough in these...
God, I fucking hate the way FPS Diesel talks. Just a bit of a footnote there. Okay, one more time.
Video.
Because I'm really trying to like build a timeline in my head. This whole situation's very confusing. So excuse me if my commentary is like not up to par of what it usually is. This whole situation's very, very confusing.
Itself has a pretty checkered history with former men, homelessness, mental illness, and a lot more that calls the girl unstable and into question, right? The police report my team and I got detail the previous Baker Act. This report is real. I am the reason the report leaked.
Cameron likes to act tough in these videos, proudly lying.
Feel free, it doesn't matter what the name or timestamp he used on it. He made it up. I know he made it up because I didn't, what I read didn't happen. And I can go to Florida police and get a real report. I'll even take a video with the police at the police station if that's what it takes.
Lying about his detractors and victims. He will openly attempt to paint his critics as pedophiles while private...
Wait, what?
To act tough in these videos, proudly lying about his detractors and victims. He will openly attempt to paint his critics as pedophiles.
Wait. Hey, I feel pretty dirty about wanting to formally apologize, even though it's months old. I shouldn't have came you tweets. It was just hypocritical and stupid. I've always thought that that kind of shit was disappointing myself in doing it. Just something I should get off my chest. Well, shit. I thought it was funny and didn't hold it against you, but apology accepted. Where in this Discord DM does he accuse them of being a pedophile?
Files while privately apologizing and begging for Reddit avowal.
The allegation is sexual assault, which is false. Labeling it misinformation is wrong. I understand it will take some time to rebuild my credibility because I was embarrassed and lied to Diesel recently. I totally understand that, but flipping on me like this without even reaching out doesn't feel right, because to the public it's going to look like you endorse false allegations. If the post was blackmail... Okay, where does... I don't know where you got the Cameron accuses them of being pedophiles at, but he very clearly does not do this anywhere that I can see. What are you talking about? Where does he accuse them of being pedophiles?
Actors and victims. He will openly attempt to paint his critics as pedophiles while privately apologizing and begging...
Am I being too charitable to the video creator here? Because I feel like after, like, listening to them talk with Papa Gut, it seemed like they were attempting to talk in good faith, and I'm trying to come at this with a different angle, trying to be charitable to both parties, but am I just being a little bit too charitable here? Because, like, you already alleged that there was abuse here, and there clearly wasn't. All the lives I've seen Cameron, the one that I'm a little bit iffy about is the police report smearing. That one I'm a little bit iffy about. I'm going to need some more time to really digest the police report one. But like every other lie that Cameron has told, he did because he had a pretty good reason to. Like, he admits that he lies to FPS Diesel, but he has a very good reason to lie to FPS Diesel, because FPS Diesel was a fucking malicious actor and pretty much riding home that the age gap was a problem and that Cameron was a predator because he was a 19-year-old talking to a 16-year-old, which I don't care about at all. Oh my god. There's nothing here that suggests that Cameron is accusing them of being a pedophile, and there's nothing here that it suggests that Cameron is abusive. This whole thing is so, like, this whole thing seems very stupid.
For Reddit avowals.
I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna hurt my brain with this too much. Like, I'm really trying to engage with it, but it's so convoluted.
It goes without saying that Diesel should have looked at the police report himself, and just trusting Cameron at his word was a bad move. This allowed Crexa to be smeared by a large majority of the community, and to this day, lies about Crexa have not been corrected on any large platform. 2023 was definitely not a very good year for Cameron.
Well, also, Crexa also accuses Cameron of rape as well, and any lie that Cameron tells of Crexa is not okay, but like Crexa is also not a reliable narrator herself, because she literally accuses Cameron of being a rapist, even though that's just not true. A lot of this is just he said, she said, and I can't really paint it as like anything coherent.
Have not been corrected on any large platform. 2023 was definitely not a very good year for Cameron, as only 3 months after Crexa was kicked out of his apartment, he now has to deal with the fallout of Yandere Dev, his boss, being exposed as a child.
I don't care about most of this, by the way. Like, no, not the Yandere Dev stuff. Yandere Dev is obviously a threat to children. Like, obviously he's a threat to children, and he's very clearly, I would say Yandere Dev is predatory, for sure. He's definitely not good. We'll say that. Any backlash that Yandere Dev got, I really don't care about. I don't feel sorry for Yandere Dev. He's a total piece of shit. But, with Cameron, like, running defense for Yandere Dev, like, in the beginning, like, I really don't care about that. Like, he's known Yandere Dev ever since he was a lot younger, and so, like, he's naturally going to be a lot more charitable to Yandere Dev in the beginning when this first comes out. Yeah.
This was first outed on the 20th of September when a TikToker going by Bugcell leaked the contents of an upcoming expose video that would be posted 4 days later. Cameron is seen in the comments claiming this alleged minor Dev had interacted.
She said she was 18 to him originally. That's interesting.
With had lied about her age and was actively urging others to mass report the videos exposing Dev. Cameron
hold on.
Dev had interacted with had lied about her age and was actively urging others to
urging others. Dude, okay, the insinuations. Are you the one reporting videos because Dev is getting exposed? They got a screenshot of you. Good, I'll be on the right side of history. She told him she was 18 originally. His side makes more sense. A lot to come to light soon. Report the videos. Oh, okay. Yeah, alright.
Report the videos exposing Dev. Cameron claims in recent Google documents that he was lied to about Yandere Dev about the minor's age, but the screenshots he links to cite this don't help his case. In fact, they contradict him. Yandere...
Okay, hold on a second. Just give me another second. Alright, I'm back. It definitely, I thought there was a bit of a discrepancy I detected here, but it seems like all this information adds up. Yandere Dev did know that the girl was 16, but what I'm questioning is if Cameron knew that, was Cameron being told a completely different story? But I guess that's what this video creator is going to show us here.
Yandere Dev about the minor's age, but the screenshots he links to cite this don't help his case. In fact, they contradict him. Yandere Dev says, do high school girls notice how much...
Okay, let's read all this. Cam, I've got really bad news. I've unwittingly gave someone ammunition to create a Yandere Dev as an evil predator who preys on minors. Yeah, so Yandere Dev historically has just been very manipulative, and I feel like that's kind of what I take this as. Like, he definitely is, like, trying to manipulate Cam onto, like, being on his side. A few weeks ago, a fan began persistently beg me to have a voice call with them. They reminded me of a friend years ago, and I really missed that friend, so I decided to be with them. This is a huge fucking mistake. Oh, boy. Once I got comfortable with them, I thought I could speak candidly. I start to ask questions like, these days, do high school girls notice how much money they could make on OnlyFans or plan to start an OnlyFans when they turn 18? Yeah, obviously this is a very weird thing. He definitely knew that the girl was 16. If you look at the original Yandere Dev allegations, he absolutely knew. There's legit proof that he knew that she was 16 while he was 35, by the way. He was like 35 or 36 at this point. Either way, it's bad. It's not good. And then, yeah, okay.
Money they could make on OnlyFans and plan to start an OnlyFans when they turn 18. What about you? Are you going to do it? This reads to me as, will you start an OnlyFans when you turn 18?
Yeah, I mean, there's no other interpretation to get from that quote. Like, absolutely. And Yandere Dev is, yeah, there's no other interpretation to get. So I agree with this, yeah.
Basically admitting to Cameron that he was indeed talking to an underage individual. Despite this, he was on TikTok asking for the mass reporting of this information that would have supposedly proven Yandere Dev's guilt. And the video posted just 4 days later confirmed everything. It exposed Yandere Dev engaging in deeply inappropriate conversations with someone known as Jelly, who...
Yeah, absolutely. And Jelly would be the later quote-unquote accuser of Cameron as well, which, again, I think those allegations are a load of nonsense. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I don't really have much disagreements with the video creator here. I mean, listen, we're almost halfway through the video. I've seen most of it, and I've tried gathering my thoughts from as much information as I could compress as possible. Essentially, Cameron provably lied, for sure. I don't think his lies were malicious. Again, the only one I'm really iffy about is the Krexa one. That one might have been malicious, but then again, Krexa is also not a reliable narrator either. And then in FPS Diesel's first video, he said that Krexa wasn't important. And so it's so all over the place. Like, literally, dude, I just, like, I don't know. I don't want to litigate this on the video creator too much. Like, I don't think the video creator is trying to argue in bad faith. Again, I am a little bit skeptical of them, at the very least, because they are within Queeman's orbit, and I just don't really like Queeman as a person in general. But, the only stuff that Cameron's lied about is stuff that he would be scared of getting canceled for. And there is, like, because there is a legitimate cancel economy of, like, sensationalized and overblown allegations on the internet. And, believe me, I would know. Yeah, I mean, like... I don't know. Also, in FPS Diesel's video, he, like, rides the age gap as well as a problem and insinuates that Cameron is a predator for being a 19-year-old talking to a 16-year-old, which is insane. Yeah, okay.
At this time was only 16. Considering Yandere Dev was well into his 30s, this was, for all intents and purposes, a closed case. Which begs the question, why was Cameron willing to lie to defend someone whom he had complete, and in some cases, exclusive knowledge of his wrongdoing?
Well... I don't know. Like I said, I don't really care too much about this. I want to know what Cameron thinks after this was posted. It seems to me like Cameron was charitable to Yandere Dev because he kind of wanted to see the best in Yandere Dev, and he wanted to see the best in him after the allegations came forward and after everything had came out. Or not after everything that came out. I'm fucking slurring my words. I'm so sorry. He wanted to see the best in Yandere Dev because he knew him for a long time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Cameron's odd choices get even more bizarre as we go further into the timeline, as Cameron would plan to and successfully meet up in real life with Yandere Dev's grooming victim 4 separate times.
Okay, dude, this is such FPS Diesel coded language, and I don't really like it. But, alright, yeah.
Now, before we go any further, because things are about to get significantly more serious, I want to make something perfectly clear. Cameron was 19 and Jelly was 16. That's a 3-year age gap, and at no point in this video are the allegations about the age gap being inherently predatory, pedophilic, or even inappropriate on its own.
So just to be clear, FPS Diesel does insinuate that Cameron is a predator for talking to her while she's 16. I'm glad that the video creator doesn't seem to have much of a problem with this age gap. I'm very glad that the video creator is trying to point that out at the very least. But yeah, there were people that were talking about how bad this age gap was, just to be clear. So I know a lot of people are going to say no one was talking about the age gap. Queeman was literally like in his stream, no one was ever talking about the age gap. No one was ever talking about it. But like people were talking about the age gap. It was part of the conversation. Literally FPS Diesel in his video like insinuates that he was like, oh my god, he's sleeping with the child of the grooming victim and all this stuff. And it's like he's like overloading the conversation for no reason. Like he handled this situation. It was such a bad fucking video. And that's why I'm like very skeptical on all these Cameron allegations, because it's such a convoluted mess. It's been handled so poorly by so many different people. And then Aiden Underground was telling Papaga to watch like a 7-hour stream that was going to change very little context of the situation as a whole. I don't know, man. I really, like, again, I don't care about 19 and 16 as long as it was consensual. Even if you think this age gap is inappropriate, it's not predatory. And Cameron does not deserve to be, like, canceled or have his entire career ruined over it. Sorry, he just doesn't. And that's just the fact.
Cameron has tried to turn this into a situation about a poor age gap and being slandered as a pedophile, and some content creators have even gone along with this narrative as well.
Well, no, FPS Diesel absolutely, like, rode the wave that it was an age gap.
Let me be perfectly clear. Cameron is being accused of a long string of manipulative, coercive, and outright malicious actions against someone he met under extremely questionable
Well, he was accused of being a pedophile earlier in this video. You showed a document of him getting accused of being a pedophile, so just to be clear, that was part of the conversation. Like, I understand that you're trying to, like, say that the age is not the issue here and that a bunch of other stuff is the issue here, but like you can't just pretend that it's not part of the conversation either. So I think it's just important to bring that up for context.
Circumstances, and none of these actions hinge on the age gap. It's not the age gap that's the issue, it is the behavior. So if you're stuck on the number 16, let it go for the sake of this video and the arguments that follow. The age gap is mostly irrelevant. As mentioned earlier, Cameron and Jelly met in person a total of 4 times.
It is irrelevant in the sense that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but people were talking about it and trying to make it part of the conversation, so naturally it just became part of the conversation.
Originally to meet on a documentary about Yandere Dev. According to Jelly, these meetings took place on Tuesday, November 21st, Saturday, November 25th, sometime during Christmas break with no specific date given, and finally on Tuesday, January 2nd. Cameron at this time lived in Florida and Jelly in Pennsylvania, so their meetings aligned with school holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, during which Cameron was visiting family up north. The latter 2 times are really the focus here, as those are the 2 times when alleged misconduct took place on Cameron's part. To start, during their 3rd meeting over—
Yeah, so just to be clear, I think the video creator is going to talk about it, but basically Jelly accused him of sexual assault, but there's video recordings of her saying that she was not accusing Cameron of sexual assault, and she walked back those claims. Even FPS Diesel says in his video that she walked back the claims, and then FPS Diesel alleges that Jelly accuses, he literally says that Jelly grooms pedophiles, which it's like, how do you conceivably groom pedophiles? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, how the fuck is that even a thing? Like, unless, like, the fucking pedophile's, like, Daniel Larson or something, like, how are you gonna groom a pedophile? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? But yeah, like, every instance that Cameron did lie in this situation, I remember, I looked at all of this with Papaga. Like, I don't have a video on it, but I did look at it. Every instance that Cameron did lie in this situation was, again, just because he was, like, probably scared of getting canceled, or that people were gonna think that he was some kind of dangerous predator, which does not seem to be the case in this situation.
Christmas break, Jelly claims that Cameron attempted to forcefully perform oral sex on her. She stated, quote, "He tried to eat me out and I didn't want to, so I had to start hitting him and stuff so he would put me down." She also reiterates the same exact thing in a recent interview.
So I was like, no, I'm not interested. And he was like, you know, I really like eating girls out. And I was like, okay, I'm not interested. And I gave him a whole bunch of reasons why, just like mostly I'm not into that. Especially not with someone who looks like him. So I just repeatedly was telling him, like, no, I'm not really into that. And he was like, no, you'll be fine. And I was like, no, leave me alone. No, I'm not doing that. And he picked me up, like physically lifted me.
But didn't she walk back all these claims beforehand? I'm so confused. I'm actually, like, so fucking confused.
and tried to move my pants and put me down on his face, and I was kicking him because, like, what the fuck? You can't just do that.
Cameron, however, tells a very different version of events.
In this instance, she was feeling bad, and she's like,
yeah, okay, we're never gonna get down to the bottom of this because a lot of this is he said, she said. So, like, again, if Jelly has lied before, and like FPS Diesel was saying that she did lie, and that she is probably fucking crazy, that's FPS Diesel's words, just to be clear, then how are we supposed to get down to the bottom of this?
you didn't assault me, whatever, da-da-da. And then we were talking about the situation, and I was like, I fucking picked you up. It's not sexual, and I put you down.
But explain the picking up. Explain the picking up. Where were you? Just like tell a story here.
So we were in a parking lot, and you know we were coming out of a store. I picked her up because like I hugged her and I picked her up while hugging her, and she kind of like stopped, like, you know, she was kind of like nonverbal. She wasn't really. She started like, I guess, like moving around, and I could at that point I kind of realized that she was uncomfortable, and she was like, stop. So I put her down, and I was like, are you okay? What's wrong? And she's like, explained to me that she had past trauma with being picked up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. And she said, it's okay, Cam.
Well, this does line up with Cameron's story that he I remember very clearly that Cameron told a similar story in another, I think it was with FPS Diesel, but like he lied a couple times to FPS Diesel, which he does admit to. But he has a good reason to lie to FPS Diesel about some of the events that took place because of how FPS Diesel was going about this situation.
You didn't know.
The story Cameron is now pushing about this taking place in a parking lot appears, from what I can tell, for the first time ever here. He never mentions the parking lot in his r/Osana video, nor in any of his prior responses. Meanwhile...
What about the... I mean, okay, I guess he's not going to acknowledge the FPS Diesel interview because he admitted he lied in some parts of it, which is, I guess, fair enough, but...
Jelly's account has remained consistent for over a year.
Well, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. Hold on. Okay, so this is from FPS Diesel's original video that he uploaded back in May 14. This is what Diesel originally claimed when the allegations first, like, resurfaced, we'll say.
This heat of the moment, passionate sex happens, and then, not but days later, Jelly accuses him of rape. Then she walks it back, and she lies some more, and lies, frankly, a lot. And to add even more complexity to this, right, it's a year later, and the iDubbbz content cop is coming out, and Cameron calls me up, and he says, actually, Diesel, just so you know, I actually never had sex with her. I was being blackmailed to say that because if I didn't, she'd tell everyone my top secret thing that I'd kill myself over. Anyway, here's the top secret thing I'd kill myself over. I'm not going to tell you in detail, but please don't tell anyone because then I'll kill myself.
So just for context, right, when he's talking about the thing that I'd kill myself over, if you watch the rest of FPS Diesel's video, the insinuation is that Cameron might have had some sexual assault trauma, potentially, earlier in life. And Jelly might have had the same trauma, so like these two trauma bonded with each other, and then they, I don't know, they had sex, they hooked up, they were talking clearly, they were into each other to some capacity. But like we know that she walks back the rape accusations several times and that she wasn't exactly a very reliable narrator, neither was Crexa. So how are we, I don't know, like, hold on, let me find the other thing. Okay, I couldn't find it. I tried really hard to look for it. But like I'm almost certain, like if someone could maybe help me out in the comment section below, that would be perfect. But like there was a lot more that Jelly lied about. Like she definitely walked back the rape accusation. She accused him of sexual assault, but then like walked it back. And apparently some people were saying she got banned from like Queeman's Discord or something like that. I don't even know if that's true. And I don't really care to know if that's true. I'll just read, especially when he tried to eat me out and I didn't want to, and then I was like, oh, what the fuck, that's a whole ass crime, so I posted about it. Cam was being sleazy and got caught. He apologized and fixed it. It wasn't rape. I don't think that fits the definition. But Crexa says it was rape. Some people were saying it was rape and some people aren't. I don't want to hurt my brain with this anymore. I already did like a whole, like, I already reacted to fucking Papa Gut talking about this earlier today, and it's just like really convoluted.
By this screenshot, as well as activity in FPS Diesel's live chat from over a year ago. In that chat, she mentions Cameron couldn't have seen her crotch due to their positioning. And
So then how would it be sexual assault then? How would that be sexual assault?
While I was streaming, Jilly even provided me with this image to describe what happened. Now,
okay.
yes, it might look silly, but it illustrates something important. According to her, Cameron was laying down, she was sitting upright, and he grabbed her thighs in an attempt to pull her onto his face. It's obviously a weird and uncomfortable story, but what matters
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be inappropriate if that's true.
here is consistency. Jelly has stuck to this version of events for well over a year. Meanwhile, Cameron's explanation is completely new, never mentioned before, and conveniently absolves him of any wrongdoing. Even in leaked DMs with Yandere Dev, Jelly is seen describing the same exact thing. FPS Diesel
Corey Caddy pressured me, and I didn't like it. Even Nakari said, actually, he raped me since I didn't want to. But, okay, so are some people still saying that... I thought that this wasn't a rape accusation from what Jelly was saying earlier. Holy fuck.
in his video covering Cameron also included an audio clip that seems to reference this exact encounter.
He said that you did nothing wrong?
Well, in a legal standpoint.
From a legal standpoint, I would...
Okay, we heard this recording in the FPS Diesel. I remember this exact recording in the FPS Diesel recording where it's like, it didn't sound... Like, at first when I heard this, my take, it didn't sound good at first. It kind of seemed like, oh, fuck, is Cameron admitting to guilt here? But, just because you think you did something wrong doesn't necessarily make it wrong. And I feel like this might have just potentially been like a miscommunication of boundaries from what I heard in the recording. We even heard this in FPS Diesel's recording as well. And I mean, she also walked back the accusation several times. I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to know what's real and what isn't. It's very... I'm trying to follow everything as best as I can here. I really am. But even though I appreciate this content creator trying to lay out the information as in like a concise way as he can, so it's not like a fucking 7-hour stream, but it's like so hard to understand like how real everything is and how fake everything is, because this whole entire situation is actually hurting my brain. This might actually be one of the most complicated allegations I think I've ever seen, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this might be some of the most complicated allegations I think I've ever had to look at on the internet. Maybe I shouldn't have covered this. I don't fucking know. Because it's, like, hard to give any coherent thought about anything.
Oh, and I was scared and that I didn't want to.
No, just in the sense of us having sex, and that can be argued because once I heard you say stop, I put you down. You were being nonverbal.
I don't think I was.
I'm telling you. Maybe I wasn't hearing correctly, but I'm telling you that I did not hear the word stop, and until I did, I put you down. And I felt awful because you were like, once you like started like squirming a bit, I felt like
squirming.
So do you play the... Okay.
You're gonna call it squirming? I was hitting you.
Are you?
What the fuck? Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, this was in FPS Diesel's call, so let's listen to his call again with Aiden Projects to see if maybe that adds up. I'm trying to engage with this as in good faith as I can.
Like, you didn't assault me, whatever, da-da-da. And then we were talking about the situation, and I was like, I fucking picked you up. It's not sexual, and I put you down.
But explain the picking up. Explain the picking up. Where were you? Just like tell a story here.
So we were in a parking lot, and you know we were coming out of a store. I picked her up because like I hugged her, and I picked her up while hugging her, and she kind of like stopped like.
I mean, there's no mention of, like, where they are specifically here. I was always under the impression that this was a call, but it's never actually made clear in this call here whether or not where they are specifically.
You know, she was kind of like nonverbal. She started like, I guess, like moving around. And at that point, I kind of realized that she was uncomfortable, and she was like, stop. So I put her down. I was like, are you okay? What's wrong? And she's like, explained to me that she had past trauma with being picked up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't.
That part is true. We know that part is true, that Cameron's not lying about that specific point. I'm just confused if this retelling is...
From a legal standpoint, I was saying no, and I was scared.
I'm not really hearing any lies here. Not that any I can find, unless I'm just fucking stupid. But I couldn't find anything.
Something bad to you. Cameron ended up responding to this audio clip in a private call with FPS Diesel, in which he repeats the non-sexual nature of this encounter.
Yeah, but FPS Diesel was a very bad actor in this story, and there's no reason he could ever speak to FPS Diesel about any of
forcibly lifted her up.
Like, FPS, he has a good reason to lie to FPS Diesel, because FPS Diesel is just trying to make him seem like this pedophilic predator, essentially. That is the insinuation in his video. And so, like, FPS Diesel, like, fucked this up so badly.
And wouldn't stop. And that Anne was hitting you.
Yeah. That wasn't sexual encounter.
That wasn't a sexual encounter?
Oh.
Because it is described as a sexual encounter.
I know. I remember how it was phrased. I remember how it was.
So what happened?
I already explained this like a billion times before, I feel like. But like that was when we had like met. I think it was like the second or third, fourth time we met. I can't remember. It was the second time that day that we re-met up. I hugged her. I picked her up. Like I was kind of like a big old hug. You know what I mean? Like I was picking her up. She freaked out. I didn't know she didn't like that, and like that was something she was got into, and she was like, she started like flailing around, I guess.
Cameron also claims he was being blackmailed into saying...
Well, if you look at the DMs earlier, right, in your video you show, where is it? Not this one. Where was it?
Pedophiles will privately apologize and begging for Reddit avowal.
Okay, yeah. So right here, if you see this DM, I understand it'll take some time to rebuild my credibility because I was embarrassed and lied to Diesel recently. I totally understand that, but flipping me on the... So yeah, he admits that he does lie to Diesel in these conversations, but also it's important to realize that FPS Diesel was trying to make him out like he was this predator, especially in the first video. So Cameron has a good reason to lie to FPS Diesel here. And I don't really, like, I don't know. It's hard to take anything this call says with any sort of validity, necessarily.
And she was like, she started like flailing around, I guess.
Cameron also claims he was being blackmailed into saying he had sex with Jelly.
What do you think I'm calling you about?
Dog, I don't know, man. Because, what, you're a free man from Yandere Dev. That's all like a year ago now.
Yeah, I have been for a while. Also, I should probably be very clear about this. I wanted to tell you this a while back, and I think now I can finally explain this. I did not have sex with Jelly. The reason I said that, the reason I was pressured into saying that, was because she had blackmailed over me over something that happened to me when I was younger.
Okay, yeah. So I remember listening to this on the FPS Diesel call. I'm going to skip past this because I remember listening to this on the FPS Diesel video. And like obviously Cameron is lying here, but this is because he's scared that the internet's going to see him as like this violent, horrific predator. Which I mean, he definitely is not. It's just, you know, there is like a fear of cancellation is like a legitimate thing, and I don't doubt that Cameron probably had that.
Sex.
Okay, so there were aspects of my interviews with Diesel where I wasn't honest with him, whether it be out of embarrassment, I couldn't trust him, or, you know, all of that. But, and of course, you know, the blackmail. Like, I'm very uncomfortable with this person at this point. I'm not trying to, like, get, like,
why are you giving it to the demands, though? And, like, giving it to
well,
her narrative?
Let's go back to point one. No blackmail. And during this time, she had asked me to share my screen. And so I had to stop the recording. She saw the recording. She asked me to delete everything. And I didn't make a backup because, you know, I wasn't thinking about that at that moment in time. It had just fucking occurred, dude. Like, it had just occurred.
Wait, why? I don't know why you would delete evidence, like, exonerating.
Because I was in a point. She forced me to, like, there was nothing I could do at that point. In my mind, I was being forced to do it.
Cameron to this day has not provided any evidence of any blackmail and has been avoidant whenever pressed about it. But let's move past this. If Cameron wasn't being blackmailed about sex...
I just don't even know what to say about this, to be honest. This dire situation is very complex. I'm not really... I don't know. I would need to see something a lot more damning and, like, more definitive, to be, like, brutally honest with you.
What's with this whole picking up incident? In FPS Diesel's video, Cameron seemingly doesn't deny the oral sex occurred. According to Diesel, he replied to the statement saying that it wasn't rape, basically arguing the consent aspect of...
Well, that would be that would be important. And like I said, like, Jelly apparently walked back this rape accusation, like, already. Like, we know this. And also, Cameron played audio proof, which he could have lied about, for all I know. That she said that it was not a rape accusation or whatever. But we also have text proof earlier where she says it wasn't a rape accusation. If you go back in the video, it wasn't rape. I don't think that fits the definition, even though there were rape accusations earlier before, and people were running the narrative that Cameron was some kind of rapist, which it doesn't seem like he is based on the information that is currently available. But it's hard to even, like, make that claim. There's a lot of he said, she said in this. There's a lot of complex narratives happening. There's a lot of people who are bad actors in this situation that are lying. Information is all over the place, and my head is honestly hurting from all of it. Like, I tried watching Papa Gut stream about it. I'm trying to look at this for my own channel because this situation did interest me. And my first impressions of the Cameron situation in general were that it just seemed like a bunch of nonsense and that, like, it didn't need to follow him for the rest of his life. Because, again, I don't care about 19 and 16. All right? And yes, there are people who didn't criticize the age gap. Okay, that's fine. You know, if those people exist, that's fine. They didn't criticize the age gap. There were people that did, for sure, and that was part of the conversation, so we can't just pretend like it wasn't part of the conversation, because it was. But, you know, I know there were people that were like Queeman was literally like, nobody was criticizing the age gap, but people definitely were. There were people in Papa Gut's chat criticizing it. There were people on Twitter that were criticizing it. Me personally, I don't really care. I'm not bothered by it. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, even if some people think it's a little bit inappropriate, which I can understand if some people think it's a little bit weird or inappropriate. That's fine, but it's also a high school age gap, and, like, seniors and sophomores or seniors and freshmen date all the time. You know, even if you guys think it's a little bit, like, weird, it's, like, not, like, a predatory thing. It's not, like, I wouldn't label it on the same level as, like, Yandere Dev, where it's a pretty open and shut case. The rape part would be important. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just keep watching. I'm going to speed this video up even further because I kind of want to just get through this.
Story from thin air, and then an oddly similar sanitized version of events had already taken place that conveniently removes any wrongdoing from his part. That means one of two things is true. Either Cameron is lying to cover up a deeply uncomfortable incident and slowly rewriting the past every time he speaks about it, or we're supposed to believe that the following happened. A similar event had already taken place that, by sheer chance, mirrors the core physical setup of Jelly's story, but just so happens to make Cameron look innocent. He conveniently forgot to tell this story in multiple other public explanations over the span of a year, and he lied about what he was being blackmailed about, now claiming he was being blackmailed to delete fully exonerating evidence that would supposedly completely prove him innocent. Either Cameron is lying, or the universe orchestrated the most bizarre chain of contradictory events just to make him look guilty. Obviously, we're never going to know the full story here, but given Cameron's history of dishonesty as well as the insane absurdity that would need to have taken place here for his chain of events to be true, I'm not exactly confident Cameron is suddenly being honest here. The fourth and final time Cameron and Jelly met is arguably the most clear-cut when it comes to his wrongdoings, as Cameron himself practically admits to it. But first, let's go over Jelly's account as shared in a recent interview.
We went to another church parking lot. He took me to Dunkin' because he was trying to warm me up to him, and he knows that I like Dunkin' Donuts. So he took me there, and he was trying to get me to warm up to him again, and he was being weird the whole time. He was like, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't mean to, and it wasn't really my fault, and you were nonverbal. You're bad at communicating. And it was just like a whole thing. And I, all day, was being like, ugh, whatever. You're a jerk, leave me alone. So he tried, we were like 40 minutes away from my house, and I wanted to go home because I was just so done with him, and he would not take me home like all day. And I wasn't panicking until it was nighttime. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna kill me, which I doubt he would, but, you know, I was panicking because he wouldn't let me out of his car. And then he was like, well,
so
just
to be
give me
clear
a
on
kiss before you
that,
go.
just
And I
you
was
say
like,
that he
okay,
didn't let you
no.
out of his car.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you ask to be let out?
Yeah, multiple times. I've been telling him all day, take me home, let me out. And he wouldn't.
Okay. And at some point he's...
I came up with like a curfew thing. I was like, my dad's texting me and he really wants me home. I need to go home now, which is not true. My dad did not care where I was as long as I let him know I would not be home that night.
Okay.
So that was, ugh.
Okay, so at some point...
I was coming up with every excuse in the book to go home. He would not let me go home. And then he was like, just kiss me before you go. And I was like, no, oh my God, I don't want to. Can you just take me home? And he was like, no, I'm not letting you out until you kiss me. And I was like, what the fuck? That's immature. And he was like, well, I just really want to spend time with you. I feel like we have such a connection, and I feel bad. I don't want to burn any more bridges. And he went on this thing about how all of his friends leave him, and Alex betrayed him, and just, I don't know, like a sympathy thing, tried to get me to kiss him. And I was like, oh my God, no. And then he grabbed me by my shoulder, and he pulled me over onto him, and he kissed me, and then he finally drove me home. And I was looking out the other direction, trying not to cry the entire ride, but he wasn't actually taking me home. He was taking me close to my grandma's house so that I could come into my grandma's house.
According to Jelly, Cameron took her to Dunkin' and then parked in a lot. She says she repeatedly asked him to take her home, a 40-minute drive from the parking lot. She says she made up a curfew to try to pressure him. Despite this, Cameron allegedly refused to drive her back until she kissed him. Jelly claims that...
Okay, I mean, that doesn't sound good. I'm trying to, like, piece together everything. Maybe I should slow down the video a little bit here. Definitely doesn't sound good. I'm just going to play the last part one more time just because there's something that I'm really confused about. I'm confused about a lot of different things about the story, to be honest with you. But I'll play the last part one more time.
He would not let me go home. And then he was like, just kiss me before you go. And I was like, no, oh my god, I don't wanna. Can you just take me home? And he was like, no, I'm not letting you out until you kiss me. And I was like, what the fuck, that's immature. And he was like, well, I just...
Not letting you out until you... I mean, that's definitely not good. It could definitely be, like, a form of... It could definitely, like, be some form of harassment, at the very least. That's definitely not good from her testimony of it, for sure. Why wasn't this information out before? Is my question. Like, why wasn't this information made clear in the fucking FPS Diesel video? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess if we're gonna be like fucking charitable, this Dickers interview was also... Dickers is a funny name, by the way. W name if you're watching this, Dickers. I don't think you will be, but W name. I don't know. I mean, like, based on her testimony of it, like, it seems like... I mean, it doesn't seem good. That's for sure. It definitely... I'm so confused, man. I'm so fucking confused.
I'm with you. I feel like we have such a connection, and I feel bad. I don't want to burn any more bridges. And he went on this thing about how all of his friends leave him, and Alex betrayed him, and just, I don't know, like a sympathy thing, tried to get me to kiss him. And I was like, oh my god, no. And then he
This really is just a lot of he said, she said. And what I was going to say earlier, because I brain farted earlier, but, like, I think this Dickers interview came out after the FPS Diesel video came out, so it probably, I guess it kind of makes sense why it wouldn't be in the FPS Diesel video. I don't know, man. It's just these allegations have been all over the fucking place.
Grabbed me by my shoulder, and he pulled me over onto him, and he kissed me, and then he finally drove me home. And I was looking out the other direction, trying not to cry the entire ride, but he wasn't actually taking me home. He was taking me close to my grandma's house so that I could come into my grandma's house.
According to Jelly, Cameron took her to Dunkin' and then parked in a lot. She says she repeatedly asked him to take her home, a 40-minute drive from the parking lot. She says she made up a curfew to try to pressure him. Despite this, Cameron
So, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure earlier in this video, and I don't know if I'm going to rewind to find it again, Cameron had like a testimony that they were in the parking lot. I'm pretty sure there was like some people were insinuating that like that was a lie within itself, that Cameron was like in the parking lot and that there was no mention of the location. To be fair, in that call, there was no mention of the location either, unless they're referring to something else or a different conversation that Cameron and Jelly were having. That being said, I'm really like slurring on my own words because this entire thing is very fucking confusing. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing post-production, so I'm definitely gonna have to edit a lot of like these parts together just so I can compile my thoughts in a very neat manner. Jelly says that they were also in a parking lot, but some people were saying Cameron was lying about even being in the parking lot as a whole. So I don't see how that would catch Cameron in that lie. Again, what Jelly is accusing him of here isn't good, but it's also a lot of he said, she said, so we're never going to actually know the full story. I really am trying to like engage with this in good faith, but this is just, everything is just so all over the place.
Allegedly refused to drive her back until she kissed him. Jelly claims that after enough back and forth of her refusing, Cameron eventually grabbed her and kissed her anyway, and then finally took her home to her grandmother's house. This isn't just her word either. This incident is largely corroborated in a recording Jelly secretly took, where even the part about Cameron grabbing her is being discussed.
What about
I'm gonna turn the captions on here.
how I spent like 5 minutes telling you that I didn't want to kiss you, and then you wouldn't let me go?
Haven't we already been over this? Like, you know,
I think this was on the FPS Diesel video as well, I think.
I feel horrible about that, and it was only because I wanted to spend more time with you. I wasn't trying to force you to do something.
But you can't just act like you didn't do anything wrong.
That's the first thing I said to you. Like, like you said, I didn't do anything wrong in the sense of, like, anything illegal. And you know, in regards to the idea of us having sex. And that's all I was talking about, not that between, and that's why I said, obviously, between us, I know I made mistakes,
So, obviously, they did have sex, and Cameron earlier had a testimony that he said that he didn't have sex with her, even though he obviously did. I think he's just saying that because he was scared of, like, getting canceled or whatever. It's not good to lie. Like, Cameron does need to, like, stop lying. I will admit, my criticism of Cameron is Cameron does need to fucking stop lying because he's not doing himself any favors in any of these situations. It just makes the allegations much more convoluted, even if you are scared of getting canceled. Like, trust me, I've been there as well. I've already had my deal of cancellation. on my old Twitch platform. So I've been there, trust me. But like, also don't lie about shit, because that certainly doesn't help your case, and that's not going to make people want to believe you. So like, if people don't believe Cameron's side of events, I really can't blame people for not wanting to believe Cameron. I can understand why people have that perspective of why Cameron is like kind of a liar, but also I feel like these allegations have been blown out of proportion to such a degree from so many different people, including FPS Diesel, that it made me care even less about the allegations. Because again, 1916, I don't care about that as long as it's consensual. And apparently Jelly had walked back the rape accusation at some point. Then she even admits in her own messages that by definition she didn't want to call it rape at one point. Maybe that's what FPS Diesel was referring to when he said that she walked back the rape accusation. And my fucking head hurts, dude. I think I'm gonna have I'm gonna have some Chimay beer after I'm done with this.
I feel horrible for them because I broke a boundary that I didn't realize I was breaking, and I feel awful.
You didn't realize you were breaking it? Me telling you that I didn't want to and that I was scared and not to grab me.
How does Cameron explain the situation? Well, on multiple occasions, he downplays what happens, saying how it's not a big deal or that it's over-exaggerating.
And by the way, the whole kissing thing was, it definitely was a weird situation, but what really happened there was I wasn't forcing her to kiss me. Okay, I want to make that very clear.
Okay.
I asked for one. She gave it to me because she thought that was her way to go home because she was afraid of curfew. That's what was happening.
Okay.
And I just wanted to spend a little bit more time with her because we had 30 minutes and we were 10 minutes away. I was like, we could spend we could spend 15 more minutes, but she was anxious about curfew. That's what was happening.
Okay.
And I guess in hindsight, I was being pushy and I apologized for it. This is again, a year and a half old.
The kissing situation. So she tried to, and the way she had framed it in this call, and I even remember thinking at the time that's weird, but she had tried to change the aspect of the situation where what actually happened was she had a curfew in 30 minutes, and we were 5-10 minutes away from her home, and I just wanted to spend more time because we were having a good day, and that we were hugging, we were hanging out, whatever.
So what's the discrepancy here? I don't understand. That story seems to line up with what he said to this other creator, Mommy Akko, is that her fucking name? Mama Akko, whatever.
Spend more time because we were having a good day. And, apparently later on she had told me that she was scared, she wanted to go home, she was afraid of missing curfew, and that was a whole thing, and I just wanted to spend more time with her. And I was being a little pushy, I'll admit, not to get a kiss, but to spend more time with her.
Notably, in that second interview, Cameron claims they were only 5 or 10 minutes away from Jelly's house. This is false. According to Jelly's Google Maps data, the location of where they were parked was actually about 30 minutes from her home. This
okay.
data also shows a stop at Dunkin' Donuts and the church parking lot, perfectly lining up with her version of events. Her
okay.
grandmother's house, the place where she was ultimately dropped off at, is also 30 minutes away. On foot, that's a 2-hour walk, and to her parents' house would have been over 5 hours of walking. So what kind of position did Cameron put her in?
They can't refuse because of the implication.
Cameron wouldn't take her home unless she kissed him, the implication being that if she refused, she'd have to walk. It doesn't matter that he didn't say the words out loud. The implicit threat of isolation and having to walk home at dark as a 16-year-old is very clear. Cameron's bizarre lies don't stop there.
Sure.
At one point, he tries to tell Diesel that he was never even interested in Jelly.
I didn't have sex with her. I wasn't interested in her. I met her to interview her.
That immediately falls apart. Why would Cameron pressure someone he wasn't interested in to kiss him? Why would he go out of his way to meet her 4 separate times? Why would he flash his erect member in a call with Jelly as some sort of joke? Most importantly, why would Cameron spend over 130 USD on Steam gifts over the course of 3 months following the car kissing incident? No, I'm not joking. 12 Steam gifts that all add up to $133.68.
Oh my god, he's grooming her. Oh no, it's a grooming tactic. Oh no.
After applying Steam sales. Check the email. I'm sorry, this is the least I can do. Best wishes, Cam. I love you too. XOXOXO.
I mean, okay, who cares? Seems like a nice thing that a partner, or I guess friends with benefit, is doing, I guess, whatever their status was at this point.
Contacting you without being contacted first is something I'm working on stopping. It bothers you, and I want you to be happy. As a punishment, have a wish. Hope all is well. Can't wait to start fresh. Here's the DLCs I promise. I don't want anything in return, Spurg. Jelly has stated that at one point these gifts were to buy her silence, and looking at some of the messages, that's definitely implied. But with others, there's clearly a deeper emotional context here. If this was just about keeping her quiet, Cameron sure had a funny way of doing it. Cameron has been
I don't really believe that it was meant to keep her quiet. I just don't believe that. Maybe maybe it was, and even if it was, I don't care. But I don't know if in this context that's even Legitimate.
of
Okay.
scripting calls with Jelly, essentially making Jelly say incriminating things on recorded calls, which Cameron then misuses for his benefit. The most important, and in my opinion, the most plausible, is to do with Jelly's alleged honeypots. In FPS Diesel's original Yandere dev.
Oh, yeah, the honeypot stuff, where essentially... Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know, I'm sure most of you that are watching this already know, but just a quick rundown. Jelly would go in these Discord servers to try to bait potential predators, not pedophiles, because she would have been like 16 at that point, but she would bait like legitimate like predators, which I don't feel bad for the predators that do this. Like she would like hit on older people to see if they would hit on her back and stuff, and then she would try to like bait them into doing stuff and exposing them. And again, I don't care. I don't feel bad for these older people, by the way, because they are fucking losers and they shouldn't. It's their job to not be hitting on Jelly back, but that is what they mean by the honeypot stuff. Just like a quick rundown of that.
Video, he mentions this clip labeled as smoking gun.
But essentially, I have been asking for proof that this girl ran honeypots.
I cannot trust fucking FPS Diesel at all on anything he says. He is so bad with information. It's insane. Like FPS Diesel just can't fucking do his job. I can't trust FPS Diesel here.
Then she would coach her friends on how to do it as well. Cameron would go on to make good on this, and he sent me an MP3 file titled smokinggun.mp3. I will now play this clip for you in full.
Really? That's crazy. So then I made the honeypot rules with the most frequently asked questions.
So you didn't run one, but
I didn't.
you coached people on how to run one.
Yeah.
Other underage girls?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just my friends.
And how
I'd
did...
be like, hey, I'm talking to this guy. He plays a lot of World of Warcraft. And I was like, oh, really?
So it was more of like a harem of honeypots.
Kinda.
What Jelly is admitting to here is essentially grooming other minors into honeypotting, which, if true, would be...
Grooming other minors into honeypotting. So just to be clear, grooming is a very... I'm going to use the Papa Gut script here. It's a very intentional, methodical process of setting typically a child up for typically sexual exploitation. You would need to show me a lot of proof for it to be... for a minor to groom another minor, essentially. I suppose it's possible, but it's like it's very probably very few and far between to the point where it's not even worth talking about. But like I don't think grooming would be the right word here, and FPS Diesel uses the term that they like groom pedophiles, which is like virtually impossible here.
Incredibly dangerous. However, this seems to be mostly a lie perpetrated by Cameron, as 4 days after FPS Diesel's video was posted, Cameron apologizes for the smoking gun clip and says he tried to get Diesel to remove it.
I feel awful about the whole smoking gun clip.
That made me so mad at you.
I know. Listen, I deleted it in early October. It was there for about 3 days. And I told him, actually, I don't think this is really what went down. And he never let go of it, and I'd always try to redirect it. I told him not to include it, because I didn't think it was a proper representation. He knows that.
It's not a proper representation.
So Cameron knew something was false and gave very little pushback to Diesel and allowed misinformation to spread, effectively smearing Jelly. I do want to briefly bring up the honeypot rules that Jelly made, which obviously don't look good. However, she claims that these were satire in an interview.
I don't know how much I believe that, to be honest. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, honeypot rules. Yeah, I don't really believe that. Like we know that she probably did like go in these Discord servers to try to like bait other predators. Again, I don't feel bad for the older people that like would hit on these younger underage people because they are fucking losers, and if they are hitting on them back, then they deserve to be exposed. But I just don't know if I believe that this was a joke. Someone who has a habit of honeypotting, actually going into honeypotting, where's the punchline here? I have a hard time believing that.
Pot rules that Jelly made, which obviously don't look good. However, she claims that these were satire in an interview.
I don't believe her, but I guess we'll listen to her explanation of it.
Yeah, so the honeypot thing. There's a screenshot. It's called the honeypot rules. I was in a Discord server full of
Ew! Queeman! Queeman's in the call! Sorry.
pedophiles, and every time they would say something weird to me, I would screenshot it and post it in Gen Chat and be like, found another one. So they were giving me all of their pedophile logic. So I made...
Pedophile logic? I don't know. Something about the way she's talking is very strange. I don't know.
Satire rules. Basically parodying everything that I would commonly hear from them.
This being said,
I just don't know if I don't believe you, to be honest. That just seems very... what's the joke? Like, oh, ha ha ha, this is a parody. I don't really see any parody here. It just seems... to me, this just strikes me as like a guideline for like how to honeypot, and that does line up with the story of what other people have been saying about like guiding people on how to bait like other potential predators.
Satire is pretty convenient. That being said, there's no actual evidence of Jelly doing anything honeypot related that I've been able to find outside of these rules, so it is very plausible that they could indeed be satire. Jelly didn't...
I don't believe it personally, but...
really honeypot, or at least to the extent Cameron is pushing, and Cameron fed Diesel misinformation to effectively smear Jelly. He's also repeatedly lied about Jelly's age, both in private and in public. In DMs to Diesel, he claimed the age gap between him and Jelly was only 1.5 years.
But like,
is that so?
I was also like, oh, it's like 1.5 years for friends.
Oh, 1.5 years difference. What does that mean? What?
I don't care.
It was 1916.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they are talking about the age there. Okay, gotcha.
And on one of Diesel's live streams, he tried...
I would need to see more of this call, by the way, just because I'm not gonna go find it, because like quite frankly, I kind of want to be over with this situation, but like, okay, fine.
I don't care.
It was 1916.
And on one of Diesel's...
Again, who cares? I don't care about 19 and 16.
live streams, he tried to pass off Jelly as 17 when all of this happened, when she was, in fact, 16.
The argument is, you're 19, she's 16. For some people, they say that's just... I know she's 17 now. When did you have sex with her?
Why even lie about this? Most likely, he was trying to downplay the significance of the age gap, as during an interview with Jelly, he seemingly puts great significance on her age, saying he won't call her Jelly Squish because she's a minor.
Just call me Anne.
Okay, we both start with A.
True. Damn it.
I'll call you Jelly Squish.
Okay. Squish also works.
I'm not calling any minor Squish.
Cameron clearly knows what he did was wrong, but in his mind, the problem seems to be that Jelly was 16 and he was 19, which is not the issue here. Cameron only knew this girl because his boss, Yandere Dev, had groomed her. That's how they met. After knowing that and after...
I don't really care about that, to be honest with you, just because... okay, and also, just to be clear, it technically wouldn't be grooming. That's not to say that she isn't a victim of Yandere Dev. Like, she absolutely is for setting him up to be, like, a predator and then talking to her. And then, like, all the conversation... Like, she is a victim of the conversation with Yandere Dev. But because she interacted with him with the intention of setting up Yandere Dev, that wouldn't technically make it grooming. But it doesn't have to be grooming for it to be terrible. Just... It's important to make that distinction and not to overload the conversation. And I don't really care that Cameron met her through the incident, the alleged grooming from Yandere Dev. I don't really care that they met that way. Just because she is a victim of one situation, that doesn't mean she can't have other relationships in her life, or life in general.
Seeing exclusive information about Dev's wrongdoings and the things he was saying to this girl, he still chose to meet up with her 4 times. He still pressured to kiss him under the implicit threat of abandonment, and according to Cameron, even went so far as to have sex with her. So no, the issue with Cameron and Jelly isn't the age gap of 3 years between a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old.
Well, a lot of people were making that the issue, and I still think it became part of the conversation because of that.
Issue isn't even a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old having sex. The issue is Cameron met an abuse victim through his employment under a predator, and after meeting up with her, decided to implicitly threaten her, attempt to smear her, and lie about the context of their meetings and conversations.
I don't care. I mean, like, it just doesn't... I don't care how they met. I don't care that they met through this situation. Again, just because she is a victim of the conversation with Yandere Dev, that doesn't necessarily mean that she can't have other relationships in her life. And again, both of these people are going to do really dumb and stupid things, but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, I don't know, you don't need to litigate this over them forever just because they do really stupid shit at the ages of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 even, like, at, like, such a young age. Like, people do all sorts of stupid shit at a young age all the time.
Everything wrong that happened here happened in spite of the age gap, not because of it. More recently, Cameron has attempted to go on a victory tour, for lack of a better term, gloating in his content deputy that he is innocent and that Noah Samson should be sued for what he had said about Cameron.
Well, Noah Samson literally called Cameron a pedophile. And just to be clear, there's no evidence that Cameron is a pedophile. And Noah Samson could absolutely get sued for that, just to be clear.
along with multiple tweets essentially bragging that he had allegations with a 16-year-old and basically got away with it, framing these allegations as lies or exaggerated. And so
it definitely seems like they were very exaggerated by FPS Diesel, so he's technically not wrong there.
After everything, what are we left with? A guy who built his career off of moral superiority, who called out others for behavior he couldn't even begin to reflect on himself. He has crossed boundaries, forged screenshots, edited police documents, released intimate videos he refused to delete, all to smear a girl accusing him of abuse. He met someone through a situation involving predatory behavior from his own boss and then used that connection to manipulate her, lie about her, and reframe the entire situation as a witch hunt over a 3-year age gap, just so he didn't have to be honest about the frankly awful stuff he had done. In short, CameronF305 is a liar, an abuser, a manipulator, and should not be your go-to when it comes to exposing creators like iDubbbz or Hassan. Cameron can't even be honest about what he has done. In what world should he be trusted to expose massive names or criticize bad behavior? He isn't a content cop. He is a pathetic, lying fraud. I feel obligated to say before I end off this video, I don't care about Hassan, or really even iDubbbz for that matter. My criticisms of Cameron should stand on their own outside of any current political conflict or YouTube drama occurring. I don't like Cameron, and I think I've made a compelling case against him. My issues are with Cameron and Cameron alone. Jelly, Krexa, even FPS Diesel to some extent are able to, and frankly, should be criticized for some of the things they have done. That's not what this video is about though, and I feel like any conversation past what Cameron himself has done is going to be a waste. Nothing justifies what he had done to the women in his life, regardless of what they did before or after they met him. Content Cop is dead. What's left is a broken mimic trying desperately to grasp on to what made the originals so special. And at the end of the day, after all that I've shown you, do you really want this guy as your bastion of YouTube critique?
You guys win.
Ahoy, ladies! God, the fucking Scoops Ahoy outfit. Looking ass. He's trying to be long-haired Steve Harrington. Okay, yeah, I mean, listen, like, these allegations have fried my brain. These are some of the most confusing allegations I think I've ever seen, like, ever. These are some of the most complicated, convoluted, confusing allegations. There's so much information all over the place. I appreciate this video creator, Emrao, for putting this together and, like, at least attempting to tell a compelling story. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't really like about his video. Like, he kind of insinuates that, like, Cameron is an abuser, which he definitely is not, just to be clear. There's a lot of people that did insinuate that Cameron was a pedophile, like Noah Samson and other people, which is just not true. I don't care about 19 and 16. And I know this video creator said that that wasn't the issue. There were some people that said that wasn't the issue, but there were some people that did try to make that the issue, like FPS Diesel, just to be clear. I don't care that he met her through the situation with Yandere Dev. I don't really care too much about that, you know, just because she was a victim of the conversation with Yandere Dev. That doesn't mean she can't have conversation, or I mean, she can't have any other relationships in her life outside of the Yandere Dev situation. The rape accusations are iffy. Yes, Cameron lies several times throughout the story, and that's not good. You shouldn't be lying about your narrative. And I think a lot of it mostly boils down to the fact that he was just scared of getting canceled. The Krexa one did seem a little bit malicious and not good. Cameron might just have... He also potentially has crossed some boundaries. Which again is not good, but they're not so damning enough to the point where I think it's worth condemnation of his entire character. I don't know. So far, it's hard for me to change my mind on Cameron as a whole, based on everything I've seen so far. Like, it just seems like a very convoluted mess of allegations. And unless we see something, unless we see like a huge smoking gun that is like absolutely damning enough for Cameron, which is going to be a lot at this point. I don't really care that much. And I don't know if it's worth hurting my brain over these allegations anymore. Maybe time will go on, and maybe there will be more that comes out, even more about Cameron that comes out that makes him even worse. But so far, I just don't think there's enough to say that Cameron is a danger to society. And I doubt that Cameron is a danger to people around him. You know, he made some really dumb mistakes as a young person. You know, I've made some dumb mistakes as a young person as well. You know, there's a lot of people that have been there. If anyone else was in the position that Cameron was in, like all over the internet, like constantly every single private interaction you've had with a woman being litigated online, you'd probably say the same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think Cameron is that malicious of a person based on everything I've seen. He's not an abuser. He's not a rapist as far as I can tell. It's a lot of he said, she said. The age gap is not bad. He's not a predator or a pedophile in any meaningful capacity. Yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on this situation. Holy fuck, this was one of the most complicated situations I think I've looked at thus far on this channel.